Hi everyone, it's Anja from Cooking with Plants and welcome to my kitchen. Today I want to share 10 frugal grocery shopping tips with you. These are things that I do each and every year myself, and by the end of the year it adds up to thousands of dollars in savings. And who doesn't want extra money in their pocket, especially during these tough times that we've gone through over the past few years, and also with grocery prices really skyrocketing in recent times as well. So these are some things that I regularly do, and you may use some of these already yourself, maybe even all of these. You might even have some extra tips, and if you do, please share them in the comments below. I would love to hear your tips and tricks as well, and maybe share them over in my Facebook group as well. I'll leave a link below. Come and join us in the group. I would love to hear what your tips are. But for now, let's get into my top 10 tips, and tip number 1. So the first thing I like to do before I even go out grocery shopping is to actually take inventory. So I go through my fridge, freezer and pantry, and I take a note of what I actually already have in there. So if I've got a part used bag of quinoa, for example, or a little bag of rice, some leftover grain of some sort, I will use that up first. And then also my beans. I tend to rotate my tins of beans, so anything that I purchased a while ago, I move it to the front of my pantry, and any new products that I buy, I put at the back. So take inventory, and then from that, create some meal ideas of what you're going to make with those ingredients. Use up anything that you have in the fridge. Things like curries and soups are so easy to make with leftovers, so make sure you use them all up. And use your freezer correctly as well to put any of those things that could go from the fridge into the freezer so it doesn't get wasted. I hate wastage, and I like making use of all of the produce that I buy. So I hope that you do the same and take inventory so you can create meals out of what you've got. And you might even find that you don't even need to go grocery shopping, that you actually have enough there to actually create 3, 4, 5 meals. So get creative, use what you have on hand, and then only buy the extra things that you need to complete the meals that you're planning to make. So tip number 2 is to keep a diary of the things that you actually throw out. Are you regularly throwing out bread because it goes moldy, or maybe some strawberries that go moldy, or maybe you buy green beans and they go off in the bags in your fridge? Then it's time to address those regular things that you throw out. So maybe if it's your bread, put it in the freezer. If it's beans that you're regularly throwing out, then why not get some frozen beans? All those types of things. Just have a look what you're regularly throwing out in your diary. You'll see different trends, and then stop buying that or learn how to store it properly. So I actually dive into food storage a lot more. I have a meal prep course that I show you how to not only cook your foods so they last longer, but also how to store them correctly in your fridge, in your pantry, and in your freezer. So if you need help with that type of thing, I'll leave a link to that meal prep course below because it's absolutely amazing. It will keep your things much, much fresher for much longer. So let's get on to tip number 3. So tip number 3 is to plan and shop. Plan what you're going to eat for the week. Plan out the meals that you're going to cook. Plan meals based around what you already have on hand, so you don't need lots of extra things that are going to just go either off in your fridge or something that's just going to hide in the back of the pantry and never be used and then get thrown out at some point, either when you move house or when you find that the use by date is actually way past its date. So have a look what you've got, plan your meals for the week, and only go shopping about once a week. Try not to go more than once a week, because every time you go shopping, that one thing that you go out for, you're going to end up with 5 or 10 things that you didn't actually need. So keep that in mind. Try to go shopping once a week. It'll save you fuel, and it will also save you on overspending and impulse buying. So tip number 4 is to shop online. So shop around for some bargains. If you're looking for things like nutritional yeast flakes or chia seeds or liquid smoke, those types of things might actually be cheaper to buy online. And again, only buy those things if you actually use them in your cooking. They're things that I regularly use in my cooking, so I make sure I get them at the best price possible. And usually getting them online for those types of things is actually cheaper. So also with online shopping, if you can't control your shopping when you get out to the grocery store and you find that you impulse buy and you end up with way more than you actually budgeted for, then why not try ordering online from your grocery store, your local grocery store, and then have it delivered to your door. That way you're not tempted to buy those extra things. You'll only get what you actually need and you know exactly what you are spending on those things. So try that if you are an impulse buyer and if you have regular things that you like to buy and you know that it can just be delivered to your door. So also this tip works well if you're going on holidays, on a vacation somewhere, and you know you're going to be staying at a set point for a certain amount of time, then why not have your groceries delivered straight to the door? So when you arrive, you've got your goodies there, you can cook up your meals, you're not tempted to go out and buy junk food, and you know exactly what your budget has been for those groceries and what you've spent. So give that a try. Tip number 5 is to buy frozen fruit and vegetables. Not only do they keep longer, but they're also nutritious and they're quick to cook and eat. So great to have on hand so you don't have things going off in your fridge. If you find that you are throwing vegetables out and things are going rotten in your fridge, then this is a great solution. It's also great to have things like green beans on hand. You don't have to top and tail them and get them prepared for your meals. You just throw them straight into your cooking and whatever dish you're making, and within a few minutes they're actually cooked up and they still have their nutrition. They're usually much more nutritious than some of the other things that are delivered to your grocery stores because they're actually brought straight from the farms, processed into the bags, and then sent to the freezer section of your grocery store. So the nutrition is in there and it's very convenient, very quick to cook, and quite often will save you money. So tip number 6 is to buy when your grocery stores are having sales. Find out when the sale days are. Go and speak to the people at the information desk. Ask which days they have their markdowns, because quite often the sales from catalogs, for example, might run from a Wednesday to a Wednesday. So when the new catalog sales are introduced, the old ones need to be turned over and gotten rid of. So quite often those things are marked down, and there are also delivery days when they get, or certain times of the day when grocery stores get their bread, for example, and their different fruit and veg. So find out when that is. It could be a Friday morning, it might be a Wednesday night. Just find out when those things are marked down and then head to the grocery store and pick up those bargains. So tip number 7 is to shop from the bottom shelf. The bottom shelf is loaded with generic brand goods. It is a variety of new products also that haven't had that exposure at eye level where all the brand names tend to sit, and they're going to be more expensive. These are the brands that actually pay to be higher on the shelf. They pay to be in front of your eyes. This is all of their marketing and advertising campaign. So have a look down below. Have a look lower. You might have oats, a generic brand, which is exactly the same. It's coming from the same place as these other things. And check the ingredients, and if it's a product that you're happy with, then go for the cheaper option. Why not save yourself some money and still get the nutrition in your body that you need? So tip number 8 is to get to know your local farmers and your produce people. So what I mean by this is go to your local farmers market, have a chat to the farmers. These are the people that work so hard to grow fresh produce, to get it to your table. So go and support them and they will actually support you. If you start chatting to them, you get to know them, they're going to say, hey, why not pop by this afternoon around 3 o'clock, and whatever excess I have, I can do a deal for you and you can have it at a cheaper price. those types of things. So rather than throwing things out, if they get to know you, they're going to look after you. And rather than throwing things away, they're going to give that produce to you at a bargain price. I remember a few years ago, I got very friendly with one of my local farmers, and he would just load up my car at the end of the day for next to nothing, $20, $30, and I would have so much produce that my fridge and freezer was overflowing. I'd feed my parents with the same produce and other friends. I would give them some of the things as well. So absolutely have a chat to your local farmers, and even farmers and at your grocery store. Speak to the produce people there, because quite often even things like beetroot tops or the greens around a cauliflower, all those things are pulled off and then thrown away because we don't tend to buy the produce like that. We like to have our nicely displayed white big cauliflower. We don't want all the whites on the greens on the outside, but those greens are actually edible and very, very nutritious. So find those things that farmers at the farmers market or even in your local grocery store, the produce department, pull those things off and they throw them out. So ask if you can actually take those things and then get creative in your kitchen and make some delicious meals out of that. Because why waste that produce when it's edible, it's nutritious, and it's not going to cost you anything? So give that a try, and if you have some other things that you get from your local farmers or other tips and tricks that you have based around having a chat to your produce department in your grocery store, then let me know. I'd love to hear what your tips are, so pop them in the comments below. So tip number 9 is to buy in bulk. So things that you use regularly. So things like toilet paper you might be able to buy in bulk and then share the cost with family members or with friends. And things like spices, for example. Go to your local Indian grocery store and you're going to get a big bag of spices for next to nothing versus buying a tiny little version of that same thing at your local grocery store for about 5 times the price. So buy the big bag and then share the cost with friends or family and then divide that product up, and you're going to save yourself quite a bit of money. And it adds up over a year. That really adds up. It's those small savings along the way that really add up by the end of the year. And number 10, my last tip, is to learn how to store food properly. Learn how to store it in your fridge and your freezer, how to use your freezer properly. Your freezer can be your absolute best friend. And how to cook meals and use up produce, so you're going to be rotating it properly so you don't have things that are going off. You're not throwing things away. You're going to have nutritious meals that are quick and easy and ready to go, and you're not going to be wasting any produce and wasting money. So if you are interested in diving deeper, I have a full meal prep course. It's hours and hours of content and downloads and a mix and match meal planner. So these are all things that are going to help you save money over time, cook nutritious meals, and get that nutrition into your body so you have energy and health and vitality. So I hope these tips have helped you. Like I said, check out my links below if you want to join me in my Facebook group, and I would love to hear your tips as well. Please hit the like button if you like this video, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.